My name is Marissa Burgess and I've decided to do a makeup tutorial, something I've never done before, so bear with me. I don't have the actual setup here as you young professional ladies do, but I have been watching all your video clips and I absolutely adore them because I just love watching people put on makeup and create things out of their own faces. It's wonderful. Anyway, in my trawling through the internet of makeup tutorials and just generally looking at what everyone does, I've noticed that a lot of people aren't doing the 80s makeup, let's say the way that we used to do it in the 80s. And because I'm from the 80s, I can actually vouch for that because I was there. So yeah, some of the younger girls are doing 80s makeup, but they're missing out on a couple of things that we used to do in the 80s that probably make it even more authentic. So I just wanted to share those few tips with whoever cares about that kind of thing. As you can see, no prep, because we didn't know about things like prep in those days. We just went for it. When using the old pan cake or the pan stick, max factor 1 or max factor 1.5 was our favorite one for going out. And then I used to be on stage, so on stage we used to use max factor 2, 10-2, which is literally like sunburn. So here's my big bushy eyebrows of yore. I think I remember that's how they were. Like I say, back in those days I wouldn't have done anything to my eyebrows if but for the fact I had an old mascara tube which was long gone in the use of mascara, and I would run it under a tap, and with the sort of mascara residue I'd just run it over my eyebrows. It's just something I invented myself, and I ended up being in the modeling world, and a lot of people ended up copying me, which was cool. Big eyebrows, there we go. People don't know so much about. In the 80s we used plum. This is not plum. This is an old Sephora Tomette. Sorry, Santal. I use Tomette and I use Santal. But what I'm trying to say is it's a deep color. And this is what I'm not seeing on any of the tutorials. It's the shape of which we put our deep plum color on. And it's the first time people started using a blusher on their eyes. So what we used to do with it was we'd make our base for our eyes. And the shape I opened it, yay! So I would have done plum. Okay, this isn't plum, it's some kind of deep burnt orange. But that's okay because I'm going to use this orange on my lids now. Now you may think we were all into shimmers and things like that in the 80s, but we kind of weren't. There was a little bit of the cream eyeshadows that shimmered, but I certainly didn't go anywhere near those because they could be so messy by the end of the night, and they'd be all gooey and creating all manner of crease lines and yuck all over your eyelids. So I didn't touch that stuff in the 80s. We were wearing very bold colors. It was actually a very colorful period. We were wearing dark greens on our eyes, and I won't say blue, we didn't do the blue, no. But we were wearing very bomb colored clothes and a lot of candy pinks, and it was reflected in our makeup. '80s girls would never have dreamed of using liquid eyeliner. First, it was deemed professional makeup and it was just too hard to use. It was a bit tricky. we never could find it with a good applicator. It was always very on a thin brush, and you had to be really expert to pull it off, and we just couldn't do it. So we were in the Kohl Eyeliner, came out in the 80s, and we were very generous about it. Side we go. Everyone did this in the 80s. Kind of makes your eyes smaller. I didn't really realize that until later on. And I have no idea why anyone would want to make their eyes smaller. But I guess this is really about dirtying up your eye and making it really intense. I'm not going to go all the way inside because that's enough really. So now I'm going to take this sharp pencil, still going here. I'm going to do my eyelashes. My eyelash line. Yes, you don't need to be a bit queasy about using the Kohl pencil in the 80s, because you will put it inside your eye, outside your eye, everywhere. And yeah, I'm joining up there in case you hadn't noticed. I'm just going to go to the 3/4 mark there. I don't want to completely close off my eyes. I think they're already looking pretty like piss holes in the snow. Okay, so of course that's not it. They've got to go now and completely do it underneath line. That's the third process down here on the under the eye. I really like watching people's makeup tutorials, so I hope you like this one. You know, just think Joan Collins. She was really famous for her big Kohl eyeliners. And, you know, look at the top line, it's barely faded into insignificance, hasn't it? So best I put some more on. I mean, good thing about Kohl is that, you know, you don't have to be a real precision person. You can kind of faff around and mess it up a bit. It's very forgiving. Although it doesn't really melt in your handbag during the hot summer days. Wowza. Okay, now of course, no 80s makeup would be kosher if it wasn't smudging underneath. And normally on the back of your pencil would be a smudger, you know, especially for smudging your underneath line. But because I don't have the old products with me, and once again, I probably wouldn't want to be using them, I'll just do it with this applicator. Smudgy, smudgy, smudgy. Smudging all my Kohl eyeliner under my eyes. And you know, heaven forbid that you wipe some off, because then you're just going to have to reapply it, because it must be very smudgy and very, very big and thick and chunky. Mine is a little bit borderline too tidy. Okay. If you still need a bit of contour, which I always am, although I've got to say that would have been enough. That would have been enough for a night out. But I'm going to put a bit of contour on with this brush and this Rimmel chocolate brown. And I'm just going to go little circles here, because I do want to get the next part of the look, which is often forgotten. We want to have heaps and heaps of contour, and we go about it like this. I gotta get some. I'm going back here with the same thing as on my eye, because it was a one-stop shop. Didn't take much thought process when you went to buy makeup. I'm bringing it all the way down here, all the way up into your hair, and all the way down here. It was all very, very contoured. Yes, it was in the day. Very, very strong contours. Just have a look at Alexia Colby from Dynasty and you will see what I mean. That's just from your ear down to your mouth, by the way. I'm wishing I had a really dark, that's right, we used to even use brown eyeshadow on our cheeks to get even more contour. Maybe I could do that. Risky business, but I'll give it a bash. It's coming back to me. I'm just going to get my eyeshadow now. Ooh, wish me luck. Just going to go a little bit underneath that. There. Another wonderful thing that came into invention in the 80s was the lip liner. True, but prior to that it did not exist. And this is what we're talking about. Big fat daddy. And we want to see the lip line. We don't hide from the lip line. Some people used to just get their black Kohl eyeliner and do the whole lip line, and that was about it. Put the lipstick inside of that. There was not even any blending happening. There we go, people. My standard clubbing 1986 makeup for a night out in the discotheque. Now, this is not how I would have done my hair at all. Here we are, we're back. We've teased a bit, sorry, not as half as much as I should have. This, in 1984, was brand new, high-tech, cutting-edge technology. Never seen before. It did this. What? We were going crazy for it. Everybody had it. We were all trying it out. What did we do with it? Well, we did this with it. We put it all there. Didn't even matter if it went on your makeup because it just dries nice and dry anyway. Up there it went. And up there. This is what we were doing. Everything we did it big. Now it's soaking wet. Fringe got a little bit tangled up in there. Doesn't matter. Ew, slimy. Okay, so we just get a comb, which any old comb will do, because you're just going to set it. And then you drag that so hard up there like that, and you pop that in. Same here. Doesn't matter what your comb looks like. You'll see why in a minute. You can actually hear it crack. Yep, it's dry. Then the miraculous thing is that you can take your combs out. And it just stays there. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, gentlemen, whoever likes 80s. Glam. That's it. That's how we rolled in the 80s. Joan Collins, eat your heart out. I'm very excited because I did find one relic from the 80s in my wardrobe. It's my polished cotton pantsuit, plunging neckline and shoulder pads.